All right. So, speaking of the relay, Ethan, we had some pretty tough shooting performances in the relay, and like not even just bad shooting, but like the types of moments where you're just kind of holding your breath as a fan, and you're like, "Come on, do something, do something." And I'm talking about Lehtinen from Finland. She shot standing in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Just like at that time, you could have just shot in like 40 seconds and had enough time for two penalty loops, basically. um, so, and then like just the next leg, they had Gro Ranby from Norway shot 124, a minute and 24, and she had two misses. So she took forever and then also had two misses. So it's those kind of performances where you're just sitting there like, oh my God, this is painful to watch. You can see the barrel moving. I was curious, do you have any experiences like that in your biathlon career, or even just like in training or anything like that? Because I have a pretty funny story that's related to this.
I don't know if I have any like specific instances, but I could definitely think of a couple moments where, you come into the last standing and your legs are just like shaking. You can't seem to calm yourself down, and it's either like super windy or raining or snowing. And it seems like everything that could go wrong is going wrong at the same time, and you're just like mentally you can't put it together, especially if you're kind of a younger athlete learning how to deal with different conditions and the feeling of like bonking or bonking during a race. Yeah, my coach growing up always told me if you're gonna miss, you might as well miss fast, and if you know it might not go well, just get the bullets down range and then go ski your penalty loops. Maybe you get lucky and hit 2 or 3 or 4, but it's so painful to watch the athletes stand there forever and forever and forever, and your confidence just tanks the longer they keep standing there.
Yeah,
especially when you can see the close up with the barrel moving around so much. Like you feel for them and you understand how hard biathlon is in that moment right there.
yeah. So when I was a junior, we went up to Quebec for a training camp, and we were training with JP Legalek, who is this Canadian biathlete from back in like the 2014 Sochi era biathlon. And I think it was at either Sochi or Pyeongchang. I forget, like the year before was the Olympics. He was winning the Olympic pursuit, I believe it was, like going to be the Olympic champion. The only thing that held him back was that he crashed on this last lap. He got passed by like 3 people, ended up coming in 4th or something. So, but in all regards, like he was about to be Olympic champion. And like in my mind, that's what he was. He was Olympic champion. And we're at this training camp with him, and we're doing range loops. And my roller skis broke. So I was using a pair of loaner skis that just had the absolute fastest wheels that you've ever seen on them. Like I did one pull and I was just gone. And it was like sketchy because I didn't really know how to control these skis. And so we're doing these range loops, a little mass start competition. It's all for fun, just for training. But on the first lap, my skis are so fast that I just zip right to the front. And he gives me this look of like, who the hell are you going in front of me? And I give him the look of, I am sorry, I cannot control these skis. And we come into the first shooting stage. I'm in lane 1. He's in lane 2. I can hear my coach say something like, what are you doing in lane 1? And that was the hardest shooting stage of my life. I could see, like, it wasn't my pulse. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't anything. It was just, I could see my barrel shaking like crazy. And I shot, I don't think I hit a single target. And like having that experience of just being so nervous, but also like not wanting to let anyone down. Cause I'm like, well, if I'm going to be in lane 1, I got to perform here. Like I can't get out of here with 4 misses. And sure enough, I left with 4 misses. But yeah, it's just, it's small experiences like that where it's like every biathlete is going to go through it at some point. And unfortunately, you kind of just have to have those experiences. Hopefully it's in training. Hopefully it's not in a race. I mean, I've had similar experiences in racing as well, but I don't know. My best advice as a coach for an athlete in that situation, especially in standing, is just really focus on the trigger. Bring it back to something that you can really control, because a lot of times, in my experience, what happens is athletes they go into hunting mode and they're trying to find the target, but the rifle and the barrel are shaking so much you can't control it. You're trying to, once you come to one spot, it seems like the target just moves, and then you go to another spot and the target moves again. In those instances, just bring it back internal. Really focus on the trigger, and when you see that black, like you said, just pull it. Just pull it, because as we saw for Leighton, at least she actually hit the target. I mean, she did go clean after 220. Unfortunately for Ranby, she did have 2 misses. But with those 2 penalty loops, I bet with those 2 penalty loops, she got out of the range quicker than Leighton. And actually, real quick, I could probably pull up the range times and see actually who did have the slowest one. But let's see here. Leighton was lane 3. So I don't know. While I look this up, if you have anything else that you want to impart on the biathlon community.
Let's see. And going back to your point about, not trying to overthink it. Think about one thing at a time. Focus on that one specific thing. I think like working with you as a coach, that was something that really helped me. Was if you focus on one thing, everything else is kind of just muscle memory, and you don't have to think about it. And then it kind of just happens without you having to, try to think about every little detail, every little thing. How, are your shoulders relaxed? How's your sight picture? Are you breathing the right way? Just focus on one thing, simple it down. There's this saying like, keep it simple, stupid. You can only think about so much, especially if you're going to be there on the mat for, ideally less than 30 seconds, but sometimes upwards of a minute. But trying to keep it simple, and these athletes have so much going on in every race, and there's so much pressure in every moment that, there's going to be moments like this for, almost every athlete, I can guarantee.
Yeah. So look at this. Gro Ranby had 2 misses, and her range time, and this is from when she entered by lane 30, did the penalty loops, and then left, was 3:06. So she had that terrible shooting time, did the 2 penalty loops, 3:06. Here's Leighton, range time, 3:57 clean. 3:57 clean. So she took extra time to hit the targets, where it's just like, at some point, just pull the trigger and get through it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we're breeding a generation of kids who are going to shoot in like 10 seconds and be like, oh, no, I heard on a podcast just to let it fly.
But if they hit them all, they're going to look really cool.
That's the Jacqueline strategy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.